Hello everyone, my name is Danish Buns, and welcome to this episode of a Noob's Review. This is the gaming show where my opinion actually becomes relevant. Yeah, don't get too worried though, it's definitely going to end after this episode. Today I'm going to be talking about Metro Last Light, a game that was originally developed by the now bankrupt THQ Studios. Finished by Deep Silver, the game released on May 14, 2013, and is available on the Xbox 360, PS3, as well as the PC. The world is destroyed. Nuclear apocalypse has claimed billions of lives, practically wiping out the human race along with everything else. Yet in the deepest and darkest tunnels of the Moscow metro, humanity continues to fight. With the last remnants of the human race, you take your place as Artyom, a heroic Spartan warrior of the Order. Fighting against the incessant onslaught of mutant creatures, it falls to you to defend the innocent from certain annihilation, as well as preventing opposing societies from finishing what they originally failed to do. In order to maintain the peace, you are given the finest weapons the Metro can offer. Which is to say, of course, that these guns have seen more duct tape than my 1982 Honda Civic. However, there are a variety of tools which can be used, ranging from puny little pistols to rather large shotguns. All of these weapons can be upgraded with silencers, scopes, and other unique attachments which greatly improve your ability to slaughter. Along with these weapons, you also have access to throwing knives for those tricksters who like to sneak through the shadows undetected. All these tools will be necessary, of course, as each opponent has their own strengths and weaknesses, such as some monsters not enjoying shotgun blasts too thoroughly, while humans tend to get excited with a nice bullet straight through their scalp. But while killing your monsters is an effective means of completing tasks, it is much more fulfilling to stealthily sneak through the area, remaining undetected. This is due to the fact that bullets are much harder to come by than weapons in the Metro. Each bullet is worth currency, with army-grade bullets being the most expensive of the lot. You can use these bullets to trade for new weapons and items, so you want to try and save them as much as possible. After you are certain you have equipped the right tools for the job, you can head out into the wilderness of Moscow in hopes that you can find a means to peace among the remaining humans and perhaps discover the truth behind the mysterious and terrifying Dark Ones. Now on to some aspects that I enjoyed about Metro. The first thing that I would like to talk about is the atmosphere and the artwork of the game. From the darkness of the underground train system to the bleak wasteland above, this game has no problem being beautiful and terrifying all at once. The AI communities in the game feel alive as they converse about the horrors they have seen, instilling a sense of terror before you even set foot outside of your little haven. Everything builds you up to the horror of the outside, where you then eventually sit patiently in the darkness, waiting for whatever is howling in the distance and hoping that it doesn't jump through your monitor and rip your own throat out. Another thing I really enjoyed about Metro is the way the sneaking system works. It really reminded me of the older Splinter Cell games, where you spent half an hour looking for a way through the map in order to avoid arousing any suspicion. Each encounter was designed uniquely, keeping the sneaking from being stale and boring, and oftentimes involved more than just walking down the darkest path. You had to use your enemy's verbal communications as well, timing the points where they were deep in conversation before sneaking past, and making sure that you eliminated the guard after he checked in with his commanding officer. All in all, it felt very clean. Of course, if you were not nearly as nimble-footed as Sam Fisher, you could always just shoot your way through every engagement. Now on to some things that I did not enjoy as much. The first thing that I would like to mention is that the story of Metro Last Light was not the greatest, in my opinion. While the mechanics of the game flow very well and the combat is immensely enjoyable, in a game that is essentially on a rail, sometimes even literally, you need to have a strong, arcing storyline that captures the player and gets them motivated to continue playing. What I personally found while playing is that some of the sequences seemed really forced and did not flow well with the overall story. In my opinion, the game did not match up well with the original and could have definitely been written better. It should be noted that while the original game, Metro 2033, was based off the book, Metro Last Light was not, which may have led to some of the confusion and lack of interesting story progression throughout it. My second and more lengthy complaint is about the lack of Ranger mode. Now, I would rather avoid getting into a screaming fit, so I'll probably just link to Angry Joe's rant about this, but in its essentials, Metro Last Light released with some Day 1 DLC. That DLC turned out to be Ranger mode. What is Ranger mode, you may be wondering? Ranger mode is what truly makes this game an original experience. By removing the UI, making both enemies and yourself stronger, the game is amped up a significant degree. In essence, this mode is the way Metro should be played if you want the whole terrifying, awesome experience. But unfortunately, Deep Silver decided that they would make this specific mode a bonus for players who pre-ordered the game, and then sell it for $5 after the game releases. This is absolutely ridiculous. A mode that the developers have even said is essential to the game is something that you cannot simply disclude from the original title and charge $5 extra for. It's not even as if they spent a ton of time making this mode possible. Most likely they just had to go into some XML spreadsheet, change a couple numbers and yes/no options on a configuration, and then create the separate mode that you have to pay $5 extra for just to get the true experience of the game. It's absolutely ridiculous. Can you sort of tell I'm slightly annoyed? Anyways, check out the Angry Joe rant, it's great, sums up everything. But while the Ranger mode option did annoy the hell out of me, I should say that this game was still really fun to play and fairly challenging as well. The variety of monsters, including those massive spiders that honestly still wake me up in the middle of the night clawing at my face, were a beautiful touch. If you guys want to get Metro, you guys can find it for the PS3, the 360, and the PC. Alright guys, that's it for me. My name is Danish Buns. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do me a favor and just tell me. That's all I need to hear and keep me continuing in terms of making these reviews. Alright guys, have a good night. I will see you next time.
You alright, Artyom?
The Dark Ones came much later, from the garden's direction. The Dark Ones, huge, towering a full head over the highest man. Nightmarish creatures, creepy as a man turned inside out. Monsters born to destroy us. The word was they were incredibly strong and unnaturally evil. That with bare paws they could tear armed men apart. That's all lies. Truth is even scarier.